Hey guys, it's Jenny Silver, and today I have an update for you from the IRS regarding the unemployment tax forgiveness. If you received unemployment in tax year 2020, $10,200 worth of your unemployment benefits were to be untaxed on the federal level as long as your AGI was below $150,000. Now, some of you may have filed your income taxes after the IRS and tax services and software already made the adjustment to automatically deduct that $10,200 from your unemployment benefits out of your AGI, therefore rendering it untaxed on the federal level. Well, for those of you that filed early, you are awaiting a refund from the IRS. The IRS previously began issuing out some of these refunds earlier, but today, on July 13th, the IRS has issued a statement in their press release that they are undergoing the next wave of refunds for those individuals who are awaiting a refund for that $10,200 that they previously paid tax on. First, I am not a CPA, I'm not a tax preparer, I'm not an accountant, and I don't work for the IRS. So if you have any tax questions, I want to make sure that you are taking those to a certified tax professional. The IRS announced today that it will issue another round of refunds this week to nearly 4 million taxpayers who overpaid their taxes on unemployment compensation received last year. Refunds by direct deposit will begin July 14th, and refunds by paper check will begin July 16th. The IRS previously issued refunds related to unemployment compensation exclusion in May and June, and it will continue to issue refunds throughout the summer. So if you are anticipating a refund and you have not yet received that refund, you could receive yours in this next wave of refunds. However, they do not specify here exactly who will be receiving them in this wave. And they do specify that the refunds will continue on throughout summer after this current wave. That means that if your unemployment refund is not issued on the date specified or around the date specified, that they're going to continue to roll these out over the course of summer. If you filed married filing jointly, or if you have a more complicated tax return, you should anticipate to be among the last to receive your unemployment tax refund. The IRS states that for taxpayers who overpaid, the IRS will either refund the overpayment, apply it to other outstanding taxes, or other federal or state debts owed. They have identified 4.6 million taxpayers who may be due an adjustment, and of that number, approximately 4 million taxpayers are expected to receive a refund. The IRS states most taxpayers do not need to take any action, and there is no need to call the IRS. However, if as a result of the excluded unemployment compensation, taxpayers are now eligible for deductions or credits not claimed on the original return, they should file a Form 1040-X, amended U.S. individual tax return. Taxpayers should file an amended return if they did not submit a Schedule 8812 with the original return to claim the additional child tax credit and are now eligible for the credit after the unemployment compensation exclusion. They should file an amended return if they did not file a Schedule EIC with the original return to claim the earned income tax credit with qualifying dependents and are now eligible for the credit after the unemployment compensation exclusion. And lastly, taxpayers should file an amended return if they are now eligible for any other credits or deductions not mentioned below. Taxpayers do not need to file an amended return if they already filed a tax return and did not claim the unemployment exclusion. The IRS will determine and correct this automatically. Taxpayers do not need to file an amendment if they have an adjustment because of the exclusion that will result in an increase in any non-refundable or refundable credits reported on the return. Taxpayers do not need to file an amended return if they did not claim the following credits on their tax return but are now eligible: recovery rebate, earned income credit with no qualifying dependents, or the advance premium tax credit. The IRS will calculate the credit and include it in the overpayment. Lastly, taxpayers do not need to file an amended return if they filed a married filing jointly return, live in a community property state, and entered a smaller exclusion amount than entitled on Schedule 1, Line 8. Next, I want to remind you guys how you can pull your IRS tax return transcript in order to check and see if the IRS has scheduled a date for your refund. Now, in order to check this, you're going to visit irs.gov and you're going to log into your account. If you have not opened an account with the IRS, it's going to take you some additional time because there are going to be several steps that you have to go through in order to first confirm your identity. Now, once you're logged into your account, you'll see the account homepage. Click the View Tax Records link. On the next page, click the Get Transcript button. Here you're going to see a drop-down menu asking the reasons you need a transcript. Select Federal Tax and leave the Customer File Number field empty. Then you will click the Go button. Now the next page will show you your return transcript, records of account transcript, and wage and income transcript for the last 4 years. You'll want to select the 2020 account transcript. Next, this will open a PDF of your transcript, and you will want to focus on the transactions section. What you're looking for is an entry listed as refund issued, and it should have a date of either sometime in late May or June. Now, if you don't see that listed there, it likely means that the IRS hasn't gotten to your return yet. If the IRS has not yet processed your return for this, don't be alarmed. They are going to be taking some additional time with these. They have begun issuing the refunds for those individuals who have simple tax returns. So if you file single status, then you will be in the first group to have this processed. But they are going to continue the process throughout summer. And individuals with more complex tax returns are going to be the second phase of individuals who will see this refund processed and anticipate it to take some additional time before you can see this noted on your transcript. Okay, you guys, I hope that was helpful. Please click like, subscribe, and leave me a comment down below.